Hello, online community. My name is Jordan Wicker. I'm the minister to high school students here at the Plano campus, and I could not be more excited to be here with you today looking at the I am statement that Jesus gives us in John chapter 10, verse 11 specifically, that he is the good shepherd. Now, just a quick recap on the heels of John 10, where we first saw that Jesus is the door. Where he says, I am the door, or I am the gate that allows people to enter into this relationship, that protects from things entering or exiting. We see that Jesus is the door, that he allows everything to come in. And on the heels of that passage in John chapter 10, verse 10, it says that there is a thief, namely by the name of Satan, that wants to steal, kill, and destroy. He doesn't want us to walk in freedom. He wants to be in the pen of these sheep, as we're going to look at, and wants to cause havoc, to wreak havoc, and to devour the sheep as a wolf would. But Jesus has come in the second part of that verse, that we could have life and that we could have it abundantly. And this is where we first see the idea of the good shepherd, where Jesus is the good shepherd. So as we look through the next 6 verses, John chapter 10, verses 11 through 16, we're going to see 3 different questions that we're going to attempt to answer. What is a good shepherd? Who is the good shepherd? And what does the good shepherd do? So we're gonna start off with this first question. What is a good shepherd? And we're gonna start in verse 11, and it says this: I am the good shepherd. Jesus is the good shepherd. The good shepherd lays down his life for his sheep. So what is a good shepherd? Someone who's willing to lay down his life for the sheep. Verse 12 says, he who is a hired hand and not a shepherd, who does not own the sheep, sees the wolf coming and leaves the sheep and flees, and the wolf snatches them and scatters them. He flees because he is a hired hand and he cares nothing for the sheep. But verse 14 says, I am the good shepherd. I know my own and my own know me. So what is the good shepherd? So we have a contrast between a hired hand and the good shepherd. The hired hand, whenever they see adversaries, whenever they see something intimidating that's coming, whenever the wolves come, whenever danger is looming, they scatter. They scatter and they leave the sheep to fend for themselves. And if I know anything about sheep, it is that they are not necessarily the toughest animal on the farm. They need help, they need guidance, they need someone to take them and tell them to eat. They need someone to make sure that they feel perfectly comfortable before they will even be able to lay down and rest. So we see that whenever an adversary comes, whenever challenging times are facing them, that with a simple hired hand rather than a good shepherd, the sheep are left vulnerable. And so the hired hand is not the good shepherd, but the good shepherd is someone who is going to be there through thick and through thin, who is going to guard that door so the shepherd, that the shepherd can protect from what comes in and what comes out. Knowing the boundary, the shepherd is going to be there to protect the sheep. The shepherd is going to be there to guide the sheep. The shepherd is going to be there to love the sheep. And so that is what the good shepherd is. And we alluded to the answer of the second question explicitly. Who is the good shepherd? Jesus is the good shepherd. Verse 14, he says it again. He says, I am the good shepherd. I know my own and my own know me. Just as the Father knows me and I know the Father, and I lay my life down for the sheep. So Jesus is the good shepherd. And what this means is that Jesus lays down his life for you and for me. He sees the adversary coming. He sees Satan, who wants to steal, kill, and destroy. Back from verse 10, he sees him coming, and he is going to lay down his life so that we could walk in the fullness of life that only he offers. That again we see in John chapter 10, verse 10, the life abundantly. So Jesus is our good shepherd. So we've seen what is a good shepherd. We've seen who is the good shepherd. But what does the good shepherd do for you and for me? And how does that affect our lives? And so we said good shepherd lays down his life. He sees the adversary coming. He sees Satan coming for your life and for my life. And he steps down and is a shield of that, saying, hey, I'm going to take on everything that you want to bring to my people, to my children, to my sheep. And I'm going to take it on for myself. This idea that Jesus, who is God incarnate, stepping down onto earth, living a perfect life that me and you could never live, to die a death that only me and you deserve, so that we could be experiencing the life of what God has truly made for us. This is the great exchange of what the Good Shepherd does, and allowing us to walk in that peace, in that freedom, and allowing us to rest in who He is, which the Good Shepherd would do. And so, What does the good shepherd do? He lays down his life for his sheep. What does the good shepherd do? Verse 16 says, and I have other sheep that are not of this fold, that I must bring them also, and they will listen to my voice. So there will be one flock and one shepherd. So the other thing, apart from laying down their life, the good shepherd seeks out the lost. The good shepherd seeks out the lost. And I'm so thankful that the good shepherd sought me out in the midst of my sin, in the midst of me walking away from him and living in open rebellion to him, to bring me into the fold so that I could stand firm, so that I could be confident, and so that I could be standing on the truth of John 10:10, knowing that there is someone who wants to steal, kill, and destroy my soul. But knowing the truth that I could walk in the abundant of life because of who Christ is and what he has done for me. And so what does this mean for me? What does this mean for you? It means that we must respond. Every time God's word is open, there's a response to be made for the believer and the non-believer. So if you're sitting there and you're thinking, hey, I don't know who this Jesus guy is, the response for you is to surrender your life to him, to the good shepherd, to rest in what he has done for you on the cross, but also to walk in the newness of life that he has given you. So Romans chapter 10, verse 9 and 10 tells us this, that if you confess with your mouth and believe in your heart that Jesus is Lord and that God raised him from the dead, then you will be saved. So that is the first point of application. The first point of application is to surrender your life to Jesus. The second point of application is to join the journey of this shepherd in bringing people into the fold. That there would be one flock and that there would be one shepherd that is truly leading the sheep, and that is Jesus. And so joining Jesus in this journey of allowing the lost to come in through that door, who Jesus is, introducing them to the way, and allowing them to walk in the newness of life. So seeing people who are lost and far from God and having a broken heart for them, and allowing that to push you to sharing the gospel with them, to inviting them to experience the fullness of life that is Jesus Christ. And that is our response today. Surrender our life to Jesus and join him on the journey of making him famous, and inviting other people in so that we could have one flock with one shepherd. And that is our mission today. So I'm so excited to continue to see what the Lord does through these 7 I am statements that Jesus makes. And I'm so excited that we are getting to go through this together. I love y'all and I'm praying for y'all. Have a great day.